badass culture. Nice. How are you?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good. I've got to say, it's fantastic to finally meet you. Not in person
Oh,
yet, but just even on here. I have to put a statement in first so you can understand where I'm coming from. I was listening to the Runaways back in the late 70s. That's how far back I go, actually listening to your music at the time that you guys were actually performing the music and actually the
no.
albums were out.
No, you look like a child. It is not possible.
I was
It's
a,
not possible,
I was
Louis.
I was a 16-year-old kid. I was selling newspapers in my local pub, and I would hear Cherry Bomb come onto the TV screen, and it's like, what the hell is that? I've been listening to music, but I've never seen the video clips, and it's like, man, I got hit by a couple of people in the head with the newspaper because I was watching the TV rather than selling the newspapers. Like, wow.
Is that right? Gosh, how neat is that?
So when you so when
Love
you're
it.
looking at that song, wearing push-ups, push-up bras, corset, fishnets, that it was sort of was it a symbol of recognition for you for what
No.
you're doing?
No, I was too young. I mean, it was that voice that everyone should listen to in their heads because I was at we had just finished doing a sound check at the Starwood, and I'd walked outside, and directly across the street was this little um, shop, I guess for women's underwear, but there was a single corset in that shop, and I saw it from across the street, and I was drawn to it. I ended up going in there after sound check, trying it on. Literally, we're talking about 1976, early 1976, and before the Runaways had really even started. And I put it on, and I thought, for Cherry Bomb, this is what I have to wear. So I bought it. And then I had Kim Fowley and Scott Anderson come over to my house. I put it on, and walked out. My poor dad, my grandmother. I feel so sorry for them. And I walked out in this corset and fishnets, and I said, "This is what I want to wear for Cherry Bomb." And they said, "Oh my God, yes." I knew it was going to be a big problem for the other girls, though, but it was for one song, just one song, Louis. And you know what? It helped. It helped, and that's why you always got to listen to that little voice, right?
You definitely do. So it wasn't a rebellious side of you?
I don't know what it was. I mean, it was just me listening to whatever it was that was guiding me in this very strange early part of my life. And had I not listened, I mean, I don't know if the Runaways would have had all the recognition, or any of the press it would have had, because I mean, having a 16-year-old girl in a corset like that, and it was a very cool corset. I mean, that corset was special. And I saw it, I bought it, I wore it, and we did it. And that's the deal.
Now, the song Cherry Bomb, obviously the Runaways are known for that main song, which sometimes it's a shame because there's so many other songs that you guys
Yeah,
released that sort of took second place to that. Did that
of
always
course.
worry you?
No, I mean, first of all, I didn't think we were teenage girls. I mean, girls were not in the music industry at that point. Susie Quattro, yes, but otherwise, there we were in uncharted territory at that time. So all I know is I was just along for the ride. I had no idea what we were even doing. All I knew is that I had to show up, and and it was every day, whether it was rehearsal or uh, being in the studio or photography or interviews. I mean, it never ended. We never had a break in the entire time I was in the Runaways, not one. So you really can't ask me what the deal was. I mean, I just kind of just did what I was supposed to do, you know?
Now, the song itself, as it's been well documented, is was written by Kim Foley and Joan Jett, and is a play on words in regards to yourself. But the lyrics itself, did you actually, again, did you just go with the flow, or did you actually
Oh
try to
yeah.
understand the lyrics for
Oh
that
no.
song?
I mean, that's the one thing about the movie that I don't really like because I mean, first of all, I was asked to learn a Suzi Quatro song to Joan Jett, Kim Fowley showed up at the Sugar Shack, asked me if I could sing or play an instrument. I told them I could sing a little. They gave me an address to go and audition. They asked me to learn a Suzi Quatro song. I learned Fever because, of course, I come from a background of like the Andrews Sisters and Dean Martin. I mean, I've never performed live. And so I picked Fever. And when I showed up at Carrie Chrome's garage, and I said, "Well, I've learned Fever." The girls were not impressed. So Kim Fowley turned to Joan and said, "You come with me." It could have been Lita. He could have turned to and said, "Come with me." It still would have been the same song, to be honest, because Kim Fowley, I took care of him here in my house towards the end of his life. I mean, Kim wrote songs, and he did. It was a one-off for Kim. I mean, every single melody, every word. I mean, the man was a flippin' genius. I mean, Cherry Bomb would have been the same whether it would have been, Lita Ford or Joan playing it because Kim always told us what to play, how to play it, and so yeah, they disappeared. He and Joan for about 20 minutes and came out with Cherry Bomb. But I ended up writing the melody because there was no melody. There was Joe going do 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 do, and Kim Fowley with his lyrics. But the thing is, I mean, I just wish I would have known at 15 that I should have gotten songwriting credit. Darn.
Now, before we actually go into, say, like the albums itself, you stand in there by the bar or the so-called bar at Sugar Shack, just sipping on your Coca-Cola. If Kim hadn't have come along and said hello to you, have you ever thought of what your life would have been like?
Yeah, I would have been
Where you would have gone to?
yeah, I would have been a paramedic.
Okay.
That's right, for sure, no doubt. Yeah.
And was there anybody else really? Was Kim the only main person at that time that was the big sort of producer around the place? Was there anybody that we was competing against?
No, I mean there were no women besides Susie Quattro. I mean I mean in the music industry it happened so fast, Louis, that I can't even tell you. I mean it was a whirlwind of just craziness. All I knew is I was swept up into this tornado and all of us girls were. So it was the right five girls at the right time. But unfortunately, I don't know if it was the right time because, I think we would have come so far had we just, I don't know. What are you going to say? I mean, I can't, all I know is that we did a lot for some teenage kids.
And it was one hell of a roller coaster ride, that's for sure.
It was Louis. Yes, it was.
Now, the debut album for the Runaways came out in 1976, with you on the front cover, which was very, very controversial.
Oof.
Was there an alternate cover, or was Kim destined to have you on that cover?
Oh my God, I begged him not to use that. I begged him because I was so new in the band. The band was so brand new, and I knew that this was not going to be good. That immediately we were taking off on the wrong foot. But there was nothing that I could do about it. I mean, this was a photograph that Kim and Mercury Records Phonogram wanted, and there was nothing I could do except just to tell the girls I'm sorry. I didn't want that. I just knew. I mean, when you're kids, when you're that young, and I'd already gone through stuff in junior high school and all that, where I mean, girls they could be. mean. Let's just be honest. All right. I did not want to be one of those. I did not want to be one of those girls. Oh, look at me, look at me. No, I was part of this band, and I fought Kim and Mercury Records to please put the whole band on the first cover, but they wouldn't. And I think that that was almost the beginning of the end for this band because it just it wasn't good. It wasn't good. Even though it's a beautiful cover, because I'm just a child, just turned 16. But it caused a riff, I think, at that point in the very beginning.
I thought it was. I thought the back cover with the photos with your ages would have caused more controversial side.
Why?
Don't know. It just, I mean, like, I know why he did it. Obviously, he did it, like it was more sort of like, okay, yeah, let's look at the ages of these girls and stuff like
Oh,
that.
you're talking about the ages
The
being
ages,
there.
yes, yes.
Well, Joan was not honest about her age. Joan was Lita's age. So Joan, she had herself at 16, but she was really almost 18 at that time. But I don't know. I think you would have to put the ages down.
Yeah.
Wouldn't you think? I
So
mean, what else are you going to say? We're 20, 25? Holy cow, no. The thing was is we were jailbait rock. That was what they were pushing. And we were good. And I think that they did a very good job marketing that.
Now, I'm told that it was the writing and the production of the album was done in roughly about 2 weeks' time, which
Yeah.
Kim wanted to sort of have the raw sound of it. What was it like in the studio and actually putting that album together?
Well, I took care of Kim towards the end of his life. I moved him into my home when he was suffering from bladder cancer because I loathed him. I was so angry with him that he had done what he did to us. But again, I mean, being a mother and not being a child anymore, I really had to look at his situation and the fact that he really didn't have any love in his life or children. So I had to forgive him for that because, being a mother of a very talented musician myself, it was very important for me to grow. And I did. And I'm so grateful that I was with Kim towards the end of his life. Um, so let's go back to your question again. I just had to put that out there. What was that question?
The question is more so in regards to when the debut album was written, its rawness,
Okay.
and then the studio wise of it. How, putting all that together, how was that for you?
Well, the one thing why I forgive Kim Fowley to this day is because I was so insecure. And of course, being a twin, my twin sister Marie, she was the very popular one in school. I was not. I was the runt. I mean, I was very insecure. So Kim, he knew that. And Cherry Bomb was the very first song 50 years ago, just a couple of weeks ago, 50 years ago, it's been that I recorded that song. And he put me in that studio. He could tell I was very insecure. He shut off all the lights, gave me a handheld mic instead of the drop down mic, and said, "You can perform, you know, in the dark." And that's how I recorded Cherry Bomb. And you know what? For Kim to be able to have that kind of compassion for a little girl that didn't even know how or what to do in this studio, that's how we got that great take on Cherry Bomb, you know? So, yeah, I mean, I recorded my very first session in the dark with a handheld mic, and that's how Cherry Bomb was recorded.
How was your voice at the time? Was it strong at that time, or did you feel that you needed to actually work on it?
Well, I'd never sung. I mean, really before, besides with my twin sister and my dad, we would do some Andrew Sisters stuff. I mean, we were just kids. I've never, ever sang professionally, ever. Um, so I will say that this was uncharted territory for me, for sure. And all of us girls, and that's the truth. I mean, even Joan, Lita, Sandy. Jackie. We had never done anything professionally, so we were just brand new.
I was amazed to notice that Blondie's Nigel Harrison was hired then for to play the
Yeah.
bass parts on the album. Obviously, Jackie wasn't up to it, or did Kim feel that that she wasn't up to it?
Kim felt she wasn't up to it. Yeah. I mean,
That must have hurt her though.
I'm sure it did, but the thing is she wasn't, obviously. I guess. I don't know. I mean, I was so naive. I didn't even know why we needed a bass player. That's how naive I was about. I didn't even know, like with Neon Angel, when that was written, that you could change the key. I had no idea about music in any way, shape, or form, Louis. So, we learned as we went along.
So, was there a moment within the Runaways where you could define your vocals?
Oh, well, okay. Again, when you're 15, my voice was very deep for some reason. And I mean, now I actually can sing, but I could not sing when I was in the Runaways. I had a terrible voice. I really did. I mean, now I am a singer. So all I knew is I worked with what I had. All of us girls worked with what we had. Look at Lita now, what a great guitar player she is. And Joan, of course, Joan's been doing it forever now. But even Joan is a rhythm guitar player and a singer. We were so right out the gate. We had no clue truly what we were doing, except that we knew that we were doing something that had never been done before. And it was the five of us together, and we were going to do it, whatever that is. And I'm just so blessed that it was us five girls, that did this together, because I think we did a pretty amazing thing.
And amazing was the tours, and full on was the tours, and especially obviously with Japan when you released the Japanese live album for it. Can you remember back then what it was like when you were in Japan?
Oh my gosh. Yes, because we had worked so hard. And Louis, when I say we'd never had a break, I mean it. We never had a break. We get on a plane, we go to Japan, and we get off this plane, and it's Beatlemania. What happened? I mean, what the heck? It was like blinking your eyes, and all of a sudden you've made it. And you also have to look at what it was like in Japan in those days. I mean, women still walked 6 feet behind the men. And so these girls and the boys, but girls especially, really were thrilled to see women do what we were doing. And it was the perfect time for it. So when we got off that plane, it was unbelievable. We'd truly made it.
And obviously you've been back to Japan since, because it was obviously many, many, many years ago.
Yeah.
What was the feeling like when you went back there as either a musician or even going back there later on just to sightsee?
Well, I went back. I mean, it was not, unfortunately, the people that brought me out there didn't get me a license to come out there, so it was very under the radar, not a good thing. So we're not even going to talk about that, because it wasn't done properly. But the thing is that Japan, my love for that incredible place and those people is forever. Uh, Changed my life, truly, truly.
Was there a pinnacle moment for you when you just said, enough's enough, I'm leaving the band?
Yeah. Well, yes. After Jackie in Japan, she ended up hurting herself. I mean, there was, again, that comes from not having any breaks, not having anyone to help us navigate through the jealousies and all that kind of stuff. I mean, we were always left on our own, and that was not a good idea. And Jackie had just had enough. So she was shipped off after she quit from Japan. And then we brought on Vicky Blue. And then I'd gone early to a photo shoot with, gosh. Can't remember his name now. He shot the second cover, the Queens of Noise cover. And I was there early because I had to share a car with my twin sister, and she had to go to acting class. She was interested in acting, not me. And so I got there early, and Barry Levine and I set up the shots, all that kind of stuff. And anyway, the girls stumbled in late, and but the thing is he knew I needed to leave so I could, because my twin sister and I shared a car. We didn't get ever make any money with the Runaways, nothing, nothing. So I needed to leave, and Lita was very upset that I was leaving, what she thought was early, but I was actually leaving when at the time that it was supposed to be over. And she kicked in the door and threw me up against the wall, and that was just it. I just had enough. I think if we had been given even a break or some kind of uh, person that could come in and talk us through all this jealousy and ridiculousness that we are going through, but we never had that. We were just run into the ground, Louis, and that's the truth.
After you left the Runaways, obviously a lot of things happened, good and bad, in your life. What was it like working on the movie Foxes with Jodie Foster?
Well, it was amazing because I mean I'd never really thought about being an actress, and but I was doing a show at the Golden Bear in um down at the beach in Newport, and this guy, Dennis Brody, was there, and he was an agent, and he asked if I'd be interested in acting, and I said, well, heck, I mean, I'm a performer, I guess, sure. And the first two things he sent me out on was Rock and Roll High School and Foxes. I got both of those parts, and I'd never acted. And I chose Foxes because I loved Jodie Foster so much. And it was just again, just it was everything was so fast. I had never been able to truly embed myself in anything, but I was very lucky to have someone like Jodie Foster help me through, that film. And I've been very blessed for sure.
I always love that scene where where the two of you in that supermarket and that just I mean there's many scenes that just, it just seems that both of you like worked so well together.
Yeah, we were very good friends, and we stayed great friends. And our mothers were very good friends as well. Um, After Hinckley, though, shot the president, Ronald Reagan, I mean, things changed a bit. Jody had a really tough time with that. And that's when our friendship seemed to disintegrate, unfortunately. But yeah, I mean, it was just the greatest. And I so appreciate her to this day.
Now eventually you released a book, which how was that received when it first came out?
Well, it was Price Stern Sloan's very first young adult book. And I mean, I thought it was received very well. That's the book that was used for the Runaways movie. I'm very proud of it. Neil Shusterman is one of the greatest writers ever. And so, it was received well. But when after I married Robert Hayes and we had our son Jake, who will be on drums for me
Oh,
in
cool.
Australia, oh my
Cool.
God. And Sandy West gave him his first drum lessons. And he just pays such homage to her. And it's almost like Sandy West is on the stage when I'm on stage with my son on the drums. But anyway, so what was the question now?
Neon Angel, the book.
Right. Well, I mean, they wanted me to turn this young adult book into an adult book after the movie had been agreed on. And so that's what I ended up doing. So the very first book, I ended up buying every single book that Price Stern Sloan had when I was married to Bob, because I didn't want it to get washed away, and they were changing, the person that was the president of Price Stern Sloan. He was leaving, and I just bought everything they had, and I'm the last one that has any unused copies. And so I sell those on my on my store, but it was such an amazing book. Anyone that would like to truly see what I went through, what the girls went through from a young adult perspective, that's a fantastic book to read.
Now, the one main thing that's in the book that's not in the movie is in regards to the kidnapping that
Mm.
happened with yourself. Um, Obviously, there was a reason why it was left out of the movie itself. Is that an ordeal that you can look back on and sort of, and it still haunts you, or is it something that eventually you sort of came to terms with?
Well, I've come to terms with it. I do have to pass the off ramp um, of where he took me, probably once a month. And I realize it's been, you know, about 47, 46 years. And I still, every time I see that off ramp, I remember that. But the thing is he had murdered six other women. So, I mean, I'm so grateful that I survived that. I shouldn't have survived. Um, so I look at that. I don't look at, oh, poor me. Look, I'm a victim. I'm not a victim. I'm a survivor. And I'm so bloody lucky because I mean,
Do you mind just
I
going
really,
through briefly, going through it and
I'm
sort of,
sorry.
do you mind briefly going through and explaining a bit more about
All
it?
right, sir. Well, I was standing outside with my friends and at the Sugar Shack, and a very good-looking guy pulled up, blonde hair with kind of waves. Uh, he was driving a green limousine, and he said, "Cherie, how are you? Long time no see." And of course, I was such a people pleaser. I never wanted to hurt people's feelings. I didn't think I'd ever met him before. But maybe I had. I met so many people, and I didn't want to make him feel bad. And so I was looking around. My friends were talking all this. I thought that they were aware of what was going on. And he just said, "What do you think of my new cars being a limousine?" I said, "Well, that's nice." And he says, "Why don't you just jump in as I turn around to park?" And that little voice in my head said, "Don't do it." But I mean, I was right with my friends. I thought the guard there that knew to watch out for me. I thought he was there for me, but he obviously wasn't paying attention. And I didn't listen to that voice. And I turned around, I got in, and immediately he says, "Oh, look at this," as he's pulling around. Look at this cool thing in this car. Because I mean, it was a beautiful limousine. And all of a sudden, I started noticing places we could park going by, and all of a sudden the locks came down, boom, and we went right out. That was that easy for him. It was that easy. And there started my 5 hours of hell.
Wow.
But
But
that's
it's,
how easy it happens for people. It's just, we don't want to hurt people's feelings. You know what I mean? We I was too kind. I shouldn't have been that kind. I've learned that now.
moving forward and moving to the touring side of yourself now. Tell me how wild was it when you played at Wacken in 2000 in 2024?
I'm sorry, when I played
How
what?
how wild was it for you to play the festival Wacken
Oh,
in
oh, it was
2024?
great. Yeah, it was great. The one thing I do love about this tour in Australia is that they're small clubs, and what's always made me feel a little off is that I can't touch the people. I'm so used to that. It's always been that way, even with the Runaways, um, where you could reach out and touch the fans. And that's always mattered to me, especially since this is my final tour. I'm done touring, and I get to be able to put that microphone out for people to sing along with me, whether it's Cherry Bomb or whatever. Is it Day or Night? Come on, American Nights, all these songs that people so love as much as I love them. And I just love being a part of it. And when you do festivals, you don't experience that.
Mhm.